Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I'm finally getting a chance to use the new Spring Floral Shapes dies from Simon Says Stamp. I had bought these in a haul video not too long ago. They are new. I've done a video with the Spring Flowers stamp set, which coordinates with this. They'd released the stamp set first, and then I assume there was a heavy demand for the dies, which I'm so glad they released the dies. I literally ordered them the second I saw them because I love this stamp set, and having the dies makes my life so much easier. So before I had started filming, I had cut out, there's a few small dies that are nested inside this set, and I'd cut those out with my wire cutters and then set those aside and kept all the rest of the dies together. I've done videos on this before, usually with MFT stamps and dies, showing how you can line up all the coordinating stamps with the dies all on one piece of cardstock here. I'm using my mini Misty because it makes my life so much easier. So I've lined up all the dies, or all the stamps with the dies, and those two that I'd cut out, I didn't use that. There's two tiny little dies as well. I didn't use those. I just used on the bottom there. And then this way I can stamp these images multiple times, die cut them all at once. This saves me so much time. So I'm using some Canson XL watercolor cardstock here. And I had treated it first with some anti-static powder, and then I stamped all those images with Versamark ink. And then I'm coating all of them with some detail white embossing powder. So I end up doing this twice, and I actually still have the stamps in my Misty as of doing the voiceover and editing right now, because I'm planning on stamping them a few more times with just black ink too, because I've gone to all the work of lining everything up. Why not get a few extra impressions out of it that I can use for other projects? Because especially with this set, I prefer cutting the images out rather than just stamping them. So I think I will get a lot of use out of just stamping some of these images and using them again. So I did 2 sheets with the images stamped and then heat embossed with white. And then I pulled out several of my Spectrum Noir sparkle marker or sparkle pens. Showed these in a recent haul video as well because I am obsessed with them and had to have all the colors. So I'm going with the most recent color throwdown challenge. I've already done again a video on that as well, but I really love this color combo. And I had, all these different colors to choose from with Spectrum Noir, so it kind of saved me figuring out what colors to use. So I will have them linked in the packs they come in, because they do come in packs of 3. But I used Fig for the purple, Pink Garnet for this really, really bright pink, and Pink Champagne for the more kind of beigey coralish color. It was the closest one I had out of all these Spectrum Noirs. And then I used Sea Breeze for my green. And I turned the flashlight on my phone so you can just see just how insanely sparkly these are. It's so much fun. Love, love. So all I had done was scribbled the color on and then pulled it out with a water brush. You could also pull it out with the clear overlay, so then it would be even more sparkly. But I just felt like using the water brush just to see how well, and you can do blending that. I wasn't really in the mood to do that today. I just used each marker as is and then just pulled the color out with the water brush. So I've got a bit of variation there and a bit of a gradient without a whole lot of effort. So then I lined up the dies over those stamped images, and since everything lined up perfectly, I was able to just run it through my machine, get everything die cut at once. And then I pulled out my MFT. This is the wonky stitched rectangle die. I used the largest die and die cut some white cardstock with that. So I die cut 2 pieces. And then I'd lined up kind of how I wanted to lay out these images. And then I just grabbed some press and seal cling wrap to pick this up. This has been shown in multiple videos, not my own. Other people have shown it. And it's a great way to be able to adhere everything. I don't use it to adhere. I'm using it right now to remember how I placed everything before I actually adhere it. And before I did that, I wanted to add just a little something more to these die cut pieces. So I'm grabbing, Simon Says, this is their cotton candy ink, and I just lightly sponged it on the lower, starting from the lower right, just so it gives a little bit more color behind these flowers, and sponge it on. I didn't super worry about it being perfect, here on camera, at least when I'm looking at it, it's like, ooh, I didn't do a very good job sponging that color on. However, you're not going to be able to tell when it's done. So I pulled back that piece that I had used the press and seal cling wrap on, so I can see where I've got all my flowers placed. And then I'm adhering all the other ones on this second piece here. And the larger flowers, I used some little 3D foam dots just on the ends of it, and then my Tombow Mono Multi on the base of it, so that it's stuck down to the card at the base, but then it was popped up a little bit on the edge of the flower, just to give it that extra dimension there. And you can see also, like when I colored the second set of flowers, I alternated which colors for which flower just to mix it up a little bit so that these aren't exactly the same. So, because sometimes I get bored if I'm, mass producing basically the same thing. And I did the same thing with the sentiments. So once I had everything adhered, I've got, I took some black cardstock and die cut the Painted Hugs die from Simon Says, as well as the Painted Thanks die. And die cut the black cardstock. And then rather than stack them, which is normally what I do, die cut multiples and stack them, I decided to use just one. I know I'm kind of losing my mind lately, but use just one, mostly because this one, especially the thanks, because it was so much longer, I wouldn't have been able to because the flowers got in the way. So I just adhered it and then pressed it onto the one flower that it kind of goes over. So that just worked just fine. So did that, and then I pulled this, it's kind of a beige sort of cardstock out of my stash. It just worked. So I pulled that out, and it's a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I scored it at 5.5 inches, and then I flipped the cardstock and cut it at 4.25 inches. So I've got both my card bases done and scored in one go, super easy. And then I always line up the edges against a straight edge and press down that fold with my Teflon bone folder so I get a nice crisp fold on my cards. Cannot live without this Teflon bone folder. I know I used to rave about it a while ago. I will still rave about it. I just don't want to sound like a broken record to all you guys, but love the Teflon bone folder. Don't know how I lived without it. So I adhered both my card bases just flat to the card with my Tombow Mono Multi. Again, was thinking about popping them up with foam tape, but I have other things I'm going to add, so I decided to keep them as flat as possible since I also had the dimension going with those flowers. And then for the inside of the cards, I'm using sentiments from the Friendship Messages stamp set, and I'm stamping that directly onto the inside of the card with some Hero Arts black ink. And then the remaining die cut and colored flowers, I'm adhering those to the inside of the card, and I lost one of the flowers. When I was sponging earlier, you could see that little kind of beige colored little flower was in the upper right there of the video. I don't know where it went. It literally grew legs, walked off. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been losing stamps. Everything keeps walking off. So I assume when I clean up later on today, I'll find it. And when I do, I will adhere it to the inside of the card. So, but I wanted to get this video done, so I got tired of hunting for it. It'll show up at the most random of times. So anyhow, I had to add sequins. I got a bunch of you guys on my last video were commenting like, what? You didn't add any sequins? Like, what's wrong with me? I'm making up for it. I'm adding a ton of sequins. I grabbed several from my stash. So the purple with some Doodlebug lilac sequins. The really pale sort of peachy color is from a craft medley pack. The small pink ones are Pretty Pink Posh, Pink Peonies, and then of course some Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear 4mm. So sprinkled those generously around my card, and then I am here adhering them with my Ranger Multi-Medium Matte Adhesive. So pretty, so fun. So I got my sequin fix. You guys got your sequin fix. We're all good. Turned on my flashlight again so you guys can see the sparkle from the Spectrum Noir. It's so fun. I love it. I love the sparkle. I'm a total magpie when it comes to sparkle and sequins. I can't help myself. So, as always, links below the video will be, there'll be a link to my blog post, links to the supplies used, all that info. Check out the description box below. Head on over to my blog for all that good stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.